All right.
Hello.
Looks like we're back
Hello.
again.
Yes.
Kiosk, right?
Same corner, same
Nice jacket.
spot.
I love your
Thank
jacket.
you, thank you. Inspired by your jacket yesterday when we went to the
Yesterday?
Rickshaw Festival.
Rishka Festival.
Rishka
Yeah,
Festival.
that was great.
That was
That was
actually
great. That was
very
great.
entertaining, very well done.
Speaking of, একটা ইভেন্ট দিতে যাচ্ছি ভাই বুঝছেন?
Acha.
Yeah.
Another
At
one.
Aloki, would you interestingly, because people do compare us with Aloki for some reason.
Okay.
For some things,
Compliment.
it's like vibe
Mm.
to Aloki's সাথে যায়, the kinds of things we do and the activities or the community stuff. I think. Oh, there you go, Yahya. Yahya on the background. It's fine, guys. We don't have like production grade podcasts, as you can see, but you know, conversations are what are what that matters.
This is community studio grade.
This is community studio grade podcasting,
Yes.
where people will walk in the background, talk in the background, and you will hear us talking as well. Right. So, I wanted to talk about attention rituals, right?
Yeah.
So, going back to Alokir ji reference, bolam je Dhaka Makers and Arca Fashion Week, two big, I think, projects that we have seen come out of Aloki, and they happen to deal with different cohorts of people, and they have a series of activities that are remarkable and characterized by a certain few things. Let's say Dhaka Makers is for artists and creators who happen to deal with handcrafts. It could be painting, could be even creating a reel. Could be it's for creators in general, essentially. And then Arca Fashion Week is geared towards makers and creators who work with fashion.
Yeah.
And this is interesting because Attention Network, we are a community studio, and what is a community studio is essentially a space for creators to thrive. That's what we say, right? That's what our purpose is. And what does that translate to is creating a series of activities and interactions and experiences for creators to thrive, essentially. Correct. And then you get into things like, I mean, some of the things that probably people have seen from our community, like music nights,
movie nights,
engineering meetups, and coding meetups.
Yeah,
we had workshops here as well. And where does this all lead to? Are these events, or are these things that go somewhere, things that have a defined outcome later? So what are your thoughts on that?
So
rituals?
It's the defined outcome. So a ritual, the way we differentiate it from an event is it's an outcome-based gathering where you come together, where you feel like you belong with a group of people, either doing an activity, participating in an activity, coming to an event where they can connect or they can be seen. If for a music event, someone's been performing. So that means they're getting seen by a community of people that they want to connect to that artist.
Yeah.
So that was a concept of the music night we started, where we did that 6 months ago. We've been running it on and off for 6 months.
We started with the karaoke night on a Saturday, and then a few friends came together, and then we were like, we could probably do this every Thursday, where musicians could come in. Musicians who probably don't have much exposure could come in, practice in front of a crowd, and then eventually get somewhere like higher gigs. And that was kind of like the vision. I don't know how much we could
do that. Yeah, so we found our studio as a space where there's a platform for someone to perform, and we opened it up to the musicians have the most lack of platforms to perform.
Yeah.
And there was a great engagement, so much that we have a Facebook group of musicians that always are engaging.
They're a Facebook Messenger group.
Where they're always engaging about sharing their own songs, where they're performing next. And that is the community we're going to build from those events. So technically, if we consider music event to be a ritual, and the way we define a ritual is whether the event happens here or not, the community that is created through the ritual continues to engage with each other despite the platform existing or not.
Despite the platform existing, yeah.
Right.
And then we talked about the tribe framework.
Yes.
That framework that we got inspired by from the internet, essentially, YouTube.
Yeah, well, you don't have to recreate the wheel when someone has tested the framework.
Just the framework that's been working for a few good community businesses internationally, and this is something that they were using if you were to commercialize a community, if you were to make money from running
make a business model out of it.
Like a business model out of a community. And TRIB, for people listening, T and B in tribe stands for togetherness and belongingness. R stands for ritual. I stands for identity, and E stands for engagement. If your community doesn't have any one of these, then you cannot really call it a community. For
Or
example,
not a sustaining community.
you cannot have a sustaining community essentially, right? For example, Rafsan Choto Bhai, right? Or jodi ekhon je following ta. If Rafsan stops posting, then his audience will stop commenting and interacting and probably be resharing his stories, right? Then can we call his audience a community? I'm pretty sure no, because that community ceases to exist if Rafsan ceases to exist.
Yeah, because engagement.
So it's like a one-way street.
One-way street. Engagement is one way versus sideways, across, and up
That
and
is an
down.
audience, for sure. So then we were like thinking, okay, then can we call ourselves a community? Truly, we cannot still. I think we still have an audience.
Yes.
But we do not have a community still. I mean, I think our music group on Messenger, it's a community like by every parameter of the tribe framework, right?
Framework, correct.
Because people are engaging there without us prompting them, right? They're sharing stuff, sharing memes and whatnot. But then how do you make money? These are kind of the answers that we were seeking for to our question of, okay, what is a ritual and how should we define a ritual and how does this happen? How do we feel Sundays through Saturdays, evenings and then weekends, and then even talked about like having this vision that how can we make Dhaka eventful from Sunday to Saturday.
Across all three promises.
All three promises. Be productive, be connected, and be seen. Sundays and Mondays can be productive, and Tuesdays can be for social gatherings, and Wednesdays can be gatherings as well, but more specifically for creators. And then Thursdays can be a gathering as well, but like more on the fun side, more on the social side. And then Fridays and Saturdays, we were envisioning events like performers events and creators events to be seen more, to be visible more. So that's kind of like our vision, like for setting out the calendar, for essentially designing what's going to happen in the Attention Network week on week. And
the approach was theme-based, right? So
theme-based,
which was, I have a weekly theme where I start off the week where I want to get things done, get ahead. And then as I'm going closer to the weekend, I want to unwind. And the weekend is for connecting socially with friends, family, and other things. And some people make their weekends productive as well. So our idea was using those themes that people go throughout the week and curating experiences and rituals that, is relevant and that they would feel they could come and they could engage and get something out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just wanted to kind of paint the vision again a little bit as well, that let's say if we have a bunch of rituals happening throughout the week and throughout the month, and then we have programming set up for months on end, what does that look like essentially? Essentially, it's a social media company. Essentially, it's a mixed reality where you have interactions, where you have different interventions and programs happening in real time and time space. And then on digitally, you have interaction points as well. Like you have ways to interact socially as well on the digital front, because you have Facebook, you have other platforms essentially. But then let's say if we were talking about this, if we were selling tickets on our own platform, our members of the space have their own membership card, so that they don't have to like register for anything. If they have a card, they can just get in, right? Unless it's for special events. And then with the unmanned co-working space that have been working in the back, people can then just get to a space to just work, and then get to a space to just connect through events as well, right? So we want to create a new reality, as we were talking about this on the first episode as well. Like in the Attention Network, we want to create a new reality for creators to thrive. And we kind of had to think holistically. It's not just about creating a space for them to work. We had to really balance work and lifestyle for any creative, for the creative type.
And for an event like music, it's work for the artists.
It is.
So it depends,
It is work for the artists. They are being productive while performing.
Yes. So subjective to which side of the engagement of the in the event or ritual you are in. So for someone who's performing again, you're being productive. You're getting your mileage in to get in front of a crowd to practice, because for you, that is the definition of being productive. As much as is writing your songs, making your songs, composing your songs, performing them is probably, it's just like for business leaders or business students, performing on stage, their ideas, their thoughts, their work is practice as much as hours that went behind
Yeah.
setting that up.
Absolutely, absolutely, and referring to as much as it is about performing, as much as it is about like the other stuff, it's about performing as well. Like the writing songs and then planning their shows and then
Understanding the music industry,
designing their personal brand, understanding, researching, and all that. Right. Getting back to intention rituals and connecting that, it's not just to do with being connected and being seen. We're also trying to come up with rituals to do with productivity. If you're a creator, having a purpose to create something meaningful for the world, then you have to find ways to be productive. And we have come up with rituals for members and non-members to be productive. And there's a certain few ways we design rituals that fall in the productivity space. And recently we took one like the BizComp A to Z, and that was a ritual for business case students, or for business students and business aspirants who want to get into MNCs and
learn their own businesses,
learn their own, or
become
or
entrepreneurs,
be your own, be an entrepreneur of your own. These rituals. I mean, essentially, traditionally, we call them workshops in the market, right?
Yeah.
But here we call it ritual for a reason, right? Because here we want to show to the world like we are taking an activity from the status quo, from the real world, from whatever is happening in the society right now, and then we add a community to it.
Correct.
We essentially taking something right now and then adding a Renaissance era spin on top of it, where we want to add mentors, we want to add gamification, we're going to add meaning and purpose to it, right?
And identity. Right?
And identity as well. Like if you are doing this ritual, then you have a sense of belonging. You have a voice. You will be seen, your problems will be heard, your struggles will be resolved. So, I mean, these are concepts. I mean, obviously they need to be viable, they need to be commercial, they need to make money to be sustainable, right? And this is why we have come up with a few abstractions for rituals that fall under productivity. We've been thinking of the concept called the Attention Academy, where we will host a set of rituals for learning for different cohorts of creators. It could be engineers, could be business students, and then eventually musicians, the singer-songwriters and the musicians.
Arts, crafts, everything.
Arts and crafts and everything, right? Yeah. Now people might ask us like, are you going to turn out to be a university? I mean, let's not come up with names yet, right? This podcast. I love it because it's Attention Unfiltered.
Yeah.
We don't need to worry too much about being polished. We don't need to worry too much about being refined. It's just thinking out loud and just making threads of logic and then see where it goes, right?
Well, speaking of university, like reflecting on my own experience, university is to put you in an environment physically, and I know there's online courses, but for myself, it was physically, is gathering different perspective within your own cohort and outside your cohort to broaden your overall learning and perspective, so you can be a better version of yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. That's what a university is.
So if some people are referring to our programs or listening to us as university, maybe that's the association they're getting. Because our intention of a ritual from a business model is we could do just one workshop, as we call it, but the outcome is limited to that one session.
One specific workshop. It's highly transactional, and yeah.
To make habits, good habits, and build something is consistency. Doing something regularly over time with higher and higher challenges
makes for a better learning experience.
Better learning experience. And it stays with you.
It stays with you as well.
Doing once, how often do you remember versus the movies that you love, you keep watching them. Similar with anything you want to learn and expand on, just muscles. Just kind of rep those muscles and build your muscles. So.
Yeah, and that's the way we want to do things here in this community, at least, right? And then I would also want to comment on some of the things that we could be doing much better. Let's say the movie screenings, right? People are thinking that it's just a place where it's just an event where people are coming and watching the movie and that's it, right? But we want to go beyond, obviously. I mean, on some movie screenings, we have been playing games. At the end of the movie, we'll play games where people are prompted to connect with each other through those games. And then that way you can break the ice and make new friends potentially, or you make new acquaintances essentially. And it's been working really well, I would say, but we can always try to find better ways to connect people on that movie screening itself, because the whole purpose was to be connected, right?
And I think the reason we tried that is we first we are in show number 13.
We
or
weren't
14.
doing that in the first few movies.
No. We were trying to understand like how to elevate the movie screening experience.
How do we elevate getting people together?
Exactly. And that time was movie, through other time is music. So it's always about how to deliver that experience that takes, I guess, take us out of the norm and it's something different. So you come and you feel, oh, this was different.
Yeah.
I got something out of this.
That
is the, I guess, the objective or outcome we try to keep in mind when we're designing the ritual framework.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. And then also, I think rituals, different people would perceive it differently. Creators and makers and the like, they would perceive it differently, right? And then the audience, general audience, the consumers of the society, they would perceive this differently, right? Because for us, it's like a very, very challenging situation where we have to look at interests of the creator themselves and then look at interests of the consumers of the society themselves as well. Consumers can include sponsors, can include advertisers. Then in the future, if we want our rituals to go even bigger and be even more sustainable and bigger in scale, essentially, then we also need to work with other kinds of stakeholders or consumers, right? And then specifically speaking, sponsors.
Well,
because if they have a huge financial contribution to make, they could literally say that we could literally say that they're helping to shape culture with their financial contribution. Because rituals like this at scale, you can understand kind of a huge footprint on society at large. Correct. I think. And
that's why the way I think of the word sponsorship is grants.
Grants.
Because what are you doing is you're investing from your business that you feel like you want to make a greater impact. So you have a business or you have an organization and you want to continue making impact outside your organization. Then you look for what other programs other organizations are doing and how can I collaborate or invest in.
Yes, I think companies should move away from the trend where they're just splurging huge advertisement money on transactional events, on one-off events. Not blaming them, probably that's the only thing that's available out there. But I think as entrepreneurs, as makers and producers of that same industry, we should be looking at things that happen recurringly over time. We should be looking at things that are building impact with a compound effect over time. So that things build legacies, things build sustainability, right? Things go somewhere. Because, where is this motivated from? Like, if you look at transactional concerts that have been happening, transactional events that have been happening, it's just about, a lot of people have been talking about these entrepreneurs, making these big shows and then grabbing the money and then, taking the money and going off somewhere for a vacation and then that's it. And people have just been miserably dealt with, gate crashing and whatnot. They couldn't even enjoy the show. Where do you go with this? But then big concerts are necessary, right?
It's a part of the ecosystem.
I mean, it's concert. I'm saying concert, but like these are transactional, one-off, really huge cash splurge deals, right? But I think there's no problem spending huge on advertisement. I think we should come up with more sustainable media assets that can take in the money, but like build with impact. I mean, I could just ask questions. How many new artists did we create? How many new artists did we put up with Atif Aslam on the concert?
So I guess the way you look at that is this one giant event is a money dump into the music industry.
Yeah.
Now, if I am someone outside the music industry dumping money into
get making business. I get all the people making business, but like, shouldn't you have some sort of forethought as well? Like, okay, can I be some sort of Robin Hood here? Like, I can do business, but then do I have an impact angle for a cohort of artists and creators that don't have the privilege, that actually deserve some attention or deserve some money or deserve some benefits, essentially? Deserve some of that grant.
I think people avoid that because that's a long-term goal. That's long-term goal, as well as other people have not come up with, show them a plan. Hey, plan A, run a big event, XYZ, get one day your cash out. Or here, plan B, this is a 5-year program. And the outcome of this 5-year program is we're going to create 50 international standard artists. Are you in for it?
I mean, would be so interested. I mean, if any potential sponsor or any brand manager in any company or any ambitious person working in the advertisement industry, if you're listening to this and resonating, then please reach out to us, leave a message. We should definitely get into interventions where we're thinking at least 5-year timelines. Otherwise, in the entertainment space, in the business, I mean, in the space that we are operating in, it's entertainment, it's talent management, without long-term gains, it's going to be very difficult to grow sustainably. Money and cash cannot be the only answer here in the short term. I think.
Yeah, if you want to make impact, it has to be long-term goals. If you want to make cash, there are many ways to make it
Also,
short-term.
if you don't have big artists coming in the next 5 years, all the big artists right now are gonna they will perish. They will expire. Everyone expires, right?
Yeah.
So what
are you doing?
How
to
are we
create the
producing new
pipeline?
assets? How are we producing new artists and whatnot? So I think, and our answer is to come up with strong rituals that can hope to work with cohorts of artists and creators at the scale that we're in, and hopefully these rituals go to a spot where we can take in more people, provide more subsidies to these artists and creators, and then, essentially prove the talent problem, prove the creator or prove the talent problem at much more scale, essentially, right?
And the same with other industries. We're speaking of, for example, software engineering, where our engineering team here has very passionate by looking at the other rituals they've created as why is there something for software engineering? So they are coming up with mentors from the industry who understand the market, who want to make an impact in terms of how can we accelerate the software engineering industry in Bangladesh.
Yeah.
So they have a long-term interest in place, which is they want to elevate a whole industry of, I guess, talents who they would call software engineers, and they're already thinking. And
they're already thinking. Yeah,
thinking.
Engineers from top places, Optimizely, Cephalo, Vitalsoft, and these places are, the leaders of their space, essentially, and these people are willing to give back to the community by teaching and then potentially sourcing and spotting different talents and then working with them to get them to a better place, to get them to better opportunities, to get them to opportunities where they can build cooler stuff, to build bigger things. And
to that, so again, this happened because people see as they're coming and visiting the studio, seeing what we do, their ideas spark.
Yeah.
And they're like, what can we do? What can we do? Like, we're going to have a workshop on music who's someone going to come from the industry and talk about the business side of music.
Business side of music. That is something not talked about at all.
At all.
Yeah.
So even if there are mentors out there who you think, hey, there is a ritual I can create to lift up this community, also reach out to us.
If you have a community, if you have a Facebook group, if you have a WhatsApp group, but don't know where to take it, where to scale it, how to do anything, how to brand it better, we're essentially doing it.
Yeah.
And we're doing it with very good business focus and very good strategic planning and all that, so you can take advantage of those resources and take your community even farther, essentially.
And the team we have, I would say, is the great team we have, the A team that we have.
Very comprehensive, very well balanced, not just one kind of talent, like graphics, content, business analytics,
engineering,
marketing,
everything.
Engineering, the whole stack. This is essentially a call out to amazing community leaders who want to work with creators and makers to get them to a better spot. And you might have an idea, you might have 10 or 15 or 20 people that you're working with or teaching, or I don't know, you have any group that you're running and you want to take them somewhere. Please come over here, let's talk. And we want to, design a few very strong rituals for makers and creators who really, really want to do something in this life, who are really serious about their mission, and we want to connect with them. We want to work for them, and we want to work with them and for them. I don't mind working for them.
No, I don't mind either. And it's a two-way street.
Yeah, essentially. Attention rituals. Yeah. That wraps the conversation today. We want to talk about rituals, and if you have any questions for us, leave them down in the comments. I'm gonna really try hard to remember what people say in the end of the video. Questions, comments, share the video if you want. I don't know, but especially what we would like, if there's a specific question on what you want to address on, please write it down in the comments or reach out to us, right? Because that's why we're doing this. Unfiltered. These concepts are the first version of the ideas that we have in our head. So we want a lot of feedback. We want a lot of validation for where we
don't want to live in a bubble.
Yeah, and we're doing this on YouTube so that more people can hear this. What we would appreciate more is those questions and those DMs, right? We don't want to go viral. We don't want to go popular. These are just conversations to the people that matter.
Yes. It's
Alright.
not to go viral, that's for sure.
All right, cool.
All right.
Attention
cheers.
Unfiltered, as they
Unfiltered.
said. I think that's the name, Attention Unfiltered.
Yes.
Liking it. All right, see you on the next one.